greenhouse effect? Well, it's actually pretty simple. It's the natural process between the sun, the atmosphere, and the earth. Simple, right? Well, I'm actually not done. At least, not quite yet. First, we have to learn how it works.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. If you look at the diagram, you can see a drawing of the sun, and the stars represent space. You can also see the Earth and the red line around it, which is the atmosphere, and the dots inside of the atmosphere are greenhouse gases. So now let's get started. The Earth is surrounded by layers of air called the atmosphere, which contains many gases. Okay, but we already know that, right? Well, the sun gives off rays of heat, really hot heat, because the sun is a lot hotter than the Earth. These rays are actually energy. Now you can see the relation between the greenhouse effect and energy. These rays warm the Earth, and this heat then travels back to the atmosphere. These gases in the atmosphere then escape into space. The gases that escape into space are called greenhouse gases, and they are very important. These gases include water vapor, which occurs naturally in the atmosphere, carbon dioxide, which is produced naturally when people and animals breathe. Plants and trees absorb carbon dioxide to live. Volcanoes also produce this gas. Carbon dioxide is not the same as carbon monoxide. Methane, and methane comes from cattle as they digest their food. The gas also comes from fields when rice is grown in paddy fields. Nitrous oxide, when plants die and rot, nitrous oxide is produced. And the ozone occurs naturally in the atmosphere. Now that you know what is needed to create the greenhouse effect, let me explain how it works with this diagram. First, the rays of the sun travel to the Earth, which takes about 8 minutes. These rays warm the Earth, and a tiny amount of gases in the atmosphere trap the heat given out by the Earth. However, sometimes some of the heat escapes into space. In order for the Earth's temperature to remain consistent, the balance of the gases in the atmosphere must not get uneven. And let me explain this diagram. You can see the sun, and one of the rays is shooting to the surface of the Earth, and it bounces back and forth in the atmosphere, but unfortunately, some of it escapes into space. Now you know how the greenhouse effect happens naturally, but we humans are unfortunately doing something wrong. The gases keep increasing in the atmosphere, and the balance of the greenhouse gases are changing, which affects the whole planet. How is this happening? Well, it's mostly our fault. We burn fossil fuels and cut down several trees, which releases large amounts of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. What's even worse is that a group of greenhouse gases called CFCs are getting released into the atmosphere through aerosols. These gases are very dangerous because small amounts can trap very large amounts of heat. Right now you could be thinking, oh, okay, so it's going to be warmer. What's the big deal? Actually, if we keep this up, it could be a huge deal. Right now, some people are afraid to admit it, but global warming is happening. Global warming is when there is more heat trapped inside the atmosphere, making the Earth hotter. Both summers and winters will be hotter, which will be terrible for all the living creatures on the Earth, including us. In other places, it will be drier in one place and wetter in the other. There will be many storms, floods, and droughts. Countries will be flooded with water due to higher sea levels. We'll lose most of our crops, and many people will suffer from hunger. Plants and animals will die, which will result in extinction. Who knows what will happen to us? If you want to stop this, there are many things you can do to help. You can stop polluting the atmosphere with unwanted gases, or at least help reduce it. You can also reduce your heating and energy supply. If you want to find more ways to help, go to WikiHow or search Google for further information.
Now you know what the greenhouse effect is and how we can stop it. If we all work together, we can save the world from an international disruption. Thank you.